All right, so Kabelo is here to inspire you and I really to just get out of bed and just make those dreams come true, man. The world definitely waits for no man, that's for sure. You've got to go out there and just hustle your butt off if you want things to happen. He is the founder and managing director of Yourself Management, which is essentially a marketing agency based in Johannesburg, but can be found in various parts of South Africa and, of course, in Africa in its entirety. And he has, he's literally making sure that there's food on the table for 300 families as it stands, and it's just growing in leaps and bounds. So he's here to share his story, but also just to share essentially how you can, perhaps in your own space, in your own big or little way, make a difference in your own life. Kabelo,
yeah,
I need to know how you did this, because I did mention before we got into news headlines that you started this. You were a waiter. You shared with me that you were a waiter in a restaurant, and now you owning this business that's super successful. How did you do it?
And not just that. I mean, just last year alone, we got 3 awards as a business. We've been awarded the most innovative agency for BBQ Awards. We got that award. We were up for Business of the Year, the FMB Rocky Award, and we got the marketing award for it. And actually, last year I was regarded amongst the young, inspiring and aspiring leaders in Africa. So it's just one of those years for making a difference. And how did I get to this? And I love it that you actually call me to your show to talk to people. I built this business that you're talking about out of 350. And it was by pure default. I didn't plan it. In fact, till this day, I'll be honest with you, my business never had a business plan. I came to Joburg to study medicine.
Yeah.
And after realizing, actually I was late for registrations and I couldn't do anything, and I was required to spend some time at the hospital for me to be part of the following year intake. I then realized that I can't stand blood. I'm allergic to blood. It was something great for me, and by then I found a job as a waiter.
Okay.
And I quit that, and that was the only thing from standard 5, I think it's grade 7, that I wanted to be. And I just focused on working as a waiter. And, you know, I was talking to another friend of mine and another associate to say, we are living in a world where people thinking greatness comes from silver platter. You know, so many people that have made it today, they actually, we found success at our lowest. You know, I found success while I was working as a waiter, saving other people, and the opportunity just rise there. Because what then happened was, the restaurant I was working on around September, they had a matric farewell. We used to host matric farewells, but those matric farewells, we will host them on one side of the restaurant while the restaurant is working normally. And it bothered me. It bothered me so much because of the previous year, I was at matric farewell and it was in a hall, but we had the best time of our life as a matriculant to say this is us sending off, a good send off to a tertiary institute or to another life. And they were just on another side. We keep on going to them and say, can you keep it down? And what I say to people is, when opportunity comes, it bothers you. And I was so bothered by how they are not being given what they needed to. And I actually made a bet with my fellow waiter to say, guess what, next year I'm going to host these people. I had no plan. I just said it. I don't know what did I get myself into. The following year, 2002, the guy said, buddy, you remember what you said? You said matric farewells time. You said you're going to making sure that this from now onwards, you're going to be hosting matric farewells. I made 350. I had rent to pay. I was just working for rent and working to send my grandmother some money back at home. I had already responsibility, and that's how I got off. I went to print out some business profile and I started. So take this way. I started with 350. I got to the same schools. My restaurant I was working on, it was within the hotel. I charged one school 25,000 rand to host their matric farewell. Not one school agreed. 4 schools agreed. So you can add it up how much I made at the age of 19. 100,000 just with that idea. But I could tell you one thing. I panicked with that 350 for me to approach them. I panicked. And that's how my journey started. I then went in, I was like, wow. And I like the idea of the opportunity and the responsibility that was just given to me. At the age of 19, I was literally responsible for this. They were same age, schools, principals were older than me. Moved from doing matric farewells to do tertiary institute, and marketing opportunity, how it came up with. It came up when I started to do club promotions. And this lady came through and it's like, in fact, we're struggling to penetrate a black market in Soweto. It's like, okay, wow, that would be easy for me.
Wow.
Arranged a meeting with my mentor, Michelle Combrick, and I went to her office and it's like, okay, can you really help me with a campaign in Soweto? I was like, wow, with pleasure. And I went in. One thing I was taught by my grandmother, I come from a very spiritual background. She always says, Kabelo, God is with us all the time. And God is giving you whatever that you do. You don't do it for men. You do it for God. So do it diligently. That was something that I was taught at home. If you're going to do school, you're going to do school so well. You just don't do it just because of you expecting anything. And I'm so grateful that she taught me that each and everything that came to my life, it was just a matter of I need to be diligent on it. So I work, and Michelle helps me get into that. And I do a campaign in Soweto, and I invoice Michelle 50,000 for 2 weeks campaign. I'm sitting there, 23 years old. I just made 50,000 for 2 weeks. This is where life is. I went to her office, then I saw how she was operating, and my picture, my vision became so clear to say, this is what I want to be.
No, you definitely were not about to quit after making 50,000 rand in 2 weeks.
I wasn't about to quit. And then I knew that I would position my company as a marketing agency. And we started from there. I worked with her. I did my fair share of mistake. One of the things is I was exposed to, like I just said, to money at a very young age. Me being exposed with working with such, I didn't know the difference between my own personal money and the business money. And I'm coming from a background of lacked. I lacked so many things when I was growing up. I wanted so many things that I couldn't have. Here I am. I could have everything I wanted. So you can put yourself into the space that I was into. And 2 years, I really got a very good support. I started to work on campaigns, big campaigns that I never even thought. I think Michelle never thought, question for once, my qualifications and whatnot. So I started to head up her MTN campaigns. I'm introducing into the township market and so forth.
Okay, so fast forward to a good, 13 years later?
Yeah.
And your company is still standing. But really, having met you literally about an hour ago, the first sense that I got from you was that you really are passionate about people. The way you talk to people, the way you greet people just shows that you are passionate about human beings. And that's why you've been able to uplift so many families. I really wanted to get into that. Talk to me about how you got to employ people and how your company is helping to really bring up other human beings and other fellow workers, as it were, to rise up with you.
It goes back to my bringing. At home, we were always taught you need to share. We had nothing, but we needed to share with the next person. One of the beating I got from my grandmother was because of I couldn't share a plate. So I always said, what you've been given is because of you need to share with the next person. And when you're coming from a background of lack, you don't want to see someone else being in that space. And that's what actually put me to be where I am. And when I started this agency, believe it, from the beginning of it, when I was doing matric farewells, I worked with people. So I always realized that my strength is not that I can do it alone. I have to do it with people. And as you grow up, in fact, this is what I always say, my success shouldn't be judged on how much money I make, but on how much difference I make to others. Because to me, it makes a difference. Being able to walk up in an office and you see these people that you're making a difference into their life. There's no feeling that is fulfilling like that. In fact, talk to clients. And one of the things I talk to the clients is, you can, whatever that you can do, but think about the opportunities that you're giving out to someone else. And I just don't employ people. My agency, because of we got seasonal staff where we have to employ people up to date for the past 2 years, we have employed or give first-hand experience into the marketing industry for over 2,000 students, because we're working with FET colleges, people that are studying marketing related and media related courses. And why did I get into that? We need to be aligned with what is going on with our country. Unemployment is not something that we should be proud of. You know, we need to be there as business leaders, as people that if you're going to get into entrepreneurship and you want to do it for your own, you are not an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is someone who makes a difference within the community, who makes a difference within the social and the economics of the country. And where we are, yes, a government can play this much of a part, but we as well, me and you, if you're thinking of a business, your business shouldn't just to serve you or to serve your immediate, but how is your business or what you're thinking of will be able to serve and change the communities that you reside upon.
Okay, you are definitely on top of things. You really are, because that's exactly, I don't know what the exact word is. I think it's humanizing marketing or something like that. A very global term that is used for a lot of companies, young and old. That it's not longer about having your company and then having a little 0.5% CSI initiative. CSIs are now now a big integral part of your business. Like you mentioned, the social element of upliftment is intrinsic as part of a business, which is really awesome to see that you're doing this at a very young age.
Getting older, but Tseko, one has to say it, to say yes. What's the point of you thinking business when I think someone out there is unemployed or you just finished your degree and you're thinking, what's next for me? I go out and I meet people that say, Kabelo, how do I get? And most people are saying, don't look at what I am or where I am now. Ask me of the challenges that I had. Do you know how many times I've actually questioned myself of what this was going to work? There were times I even questioned the name of the company. I was like, how could I have your self-management as a marketing company? I had those moments where I questioned. I had a moment where I lost everything because of the mistake I had. And I kept on looking back and say, what if I only didn't make this mistake? Then when the second chance came through, I had to making sure that I rectified it. And not only do I rectify it, and I make a difference. And not only a difference to me, but you make a difference to someone else. And something that we always do, my business, I'll be honest with you, I run business where employed over 300 people and so forth. I can disclose how much I make, but I didn't have pen and paper to it. And another thing is we want to think of the next big idea that comes up. Your business needs to sound cheesy, if I have to use that word. It needs to sound so good. No, actually, it's just smallest thing that bothers you can really make a difference. You don't even have to think that much big. Exactly where you are, there are opportunities around. Absolutely. Just go outside and look at the opportunities. There are two types of people that I always say you get engaged with. You've got permissist and opportunist. Permissist is someone, it doesn't matter how much opportunities you give them, they'll always see something wrong with it. They'll always say, no, I can't do it. No, it's not for me. They are just negative people. You can't afford to be like that where the country is like this. You need to be an opportunist. And what is an opportunist is even when things are bad, when things are not going your way, there is still that opportunity. There's still that hope of opportunity within yourself. And there is no one else who can believe in you except you yourself. And that's where we need to be as people to get into this level. For me to be where I am, it's quite harder. I'll be honest with you. It's more harder than when I was waking up. It's harder to stay being on the top because of every arrow it's aiming at you. And everything, there's a force of gravity that you need to first go against. Everything wants to pull you down. So it's even more harder to be at the top because if you need to sustain and you need to be able to know where you are. You are no longer that small that no marketplace doesn't actually consider you. People are aware of you in terms of what you do, your competitors and whatnot. So it's harder. But you cannot be able to stay at the top if you are not prepared. You need to be prepared to get to the top. And it's not a one-day thing. It took me 13 years. 13 years. I'm still not close to where I want to be. But I meet lots of people that thinking it's 13. I had to start as a waiter. You had to start somewhere, and shocking with life to be great. You need, like, life is so weird. It need to shame you first. You know,
You
life
need to
can
be embarrassed first.
it will embarrass you. It will take you
Yeah.
certain things out of you.
Oh.
And I always say, I'm a believer, and I always say, then that's when God works on you, because of He just wants to say, it's not you, it's not Kabelo. So when you come and talk to people, people knows, like, there is no way you could
Yeah.
do this on your own. So you cannot trust on your own as an individual. You need to just have a second faith, and always remember that we can always start. Everyone you can think of, we started somewhere. Big business, Google started from the garages. People despise that. We want to wear a suit. You want to drive that car, but you don't know what it takes. How would you take care of it?
Yeah,
You wanna stay in a
microwave success is just it's not going to help you. Okay, it's taken Kabelo 13 years, and like you're saying, it's still a journey. And another lesson, of course, that we've learned from you is that no one succeeds in isolation. You've got to be out there. You've got to talk to people, and you can't cocoon forever and hope to succeed, right?
And another thing that we're fighting against is the attitude. You know, I see it just as from me working and me based at the office, being a leader. I think one of the other things we need to really work up on, it's an attitude. Some of us, we fail just based on the attitude of entitlement, attitude of not being able to be aligned. And I always say this, you need to be aligned with the current time. You can't afford, in this fast-paced world, to think like you were thinking last month, even yesterday. Just
Right?
today on its own, you need to sharpen up your mind. What you wear, yes, like you're not wearing the same clothes that you were wearing yesterday. You still stuck up on the same thinking that you were 4 years back. You know what that means? You are 4 years. You haven't grown for 4 years. So every day it's an opportunity for you to think, and you can able to stretch yourself. But what are you doing about it? You can't say, no, this is me. I find lots of people, they say, I'm like this. No, I wasn't like this. I had to adjust to circumstances. I had to go with the pace of the world. And for me to be able to be relevant. How you become relevant? You can't be relevant when you are on the year 2010 in your thinking. You have to be relevant by being on the 21st today. You know, and
You must
that's
be
a relevance.
2020 even.
At the you need to, you can,
Think
the
a
least that
little
you can do,
further. Yeah.
it could be today and tomorrow. I always say to people, the worst person that you could be with is a person that always measure themselves by what they have done yesterday. Yesterday have passed. You can only measure yourself.
You're only
but
as good as you
you
were
were
yesterday. Yeah.
You can only measure yourself by what you are capable of doing today and what you are dreaming about. And because of your continuously dreaming about tomorrow, that will be able to humble you enough to say you haven't arrived yet.
Let's leave it there. Hi, Awuti Kabelo. You've done tremendous things, and I wish you nothing but success, because I think you've done amazing things, not only for yourself but really for other people, which is quite commendable, because you know, when you come from where we come from as black people, we come from lack. The first person you think of is yourself. So it's really commendable that you were able to think, how can I involve other people so we can really just go on a roll together and make this happen. Thank you so much. Social media handles, how can people maybe have a look at your company profile for further business opportunities, or if they'd like to just engage with you on social media, where can they find you?
I'm very simple. On social media, I'm Kabelo Ncholo. Instagram, kabelo.ncholo. The company, your self-management. I'm very excited about the business. In fact, our website is done because of we coming up with a new identity and new look. As you could tell, with the opening of the office in Namibia and Zambia, my focus now is even beyond South Africa. We positioning ourselves in Africa, so that's where we are. We're already thinking like that with the staff, and I need to acknowledge each and every person that works for me. I could be here. People like you, whether you are my brand ambassadors, working at the shop, sales retailers, people that are working at the office, my communications manager, Tandy. Those are the people that really makes me really want to wake up every day. You know, it's not about me every day. If it was about me, I think I would have quit. But when I think of you guys that are actually making a difference, not into my life, but into my like 3 generations back at home, my great-grandmother, my grandmother, even my own life. You guys I'm grateful for. And I think you as South African, wherever you are, there's never too late to really start working on something, to really start dreaming and believing in yourself. There's still that time for you. And thank you so much for allowing me to come through.
Thank you so much for coming. All the best, and I hope we'll catch up again this year.
No, definitely we have to.
Excellent stuff.